Here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. If you're still working a 9-to-5 in 2026, you're playing a game that's already changing faster than you can keep up. And the worst part, it's not your fault. Because everything about the system you grew up believing in, go to school, get a stable job, work hard, retire safely, is quietly breaking, while most people are still following it blindly. But here's where it gets dangerous. The people who realize this too late are the ones who end up stuck. So before that happens to you, let's break down what's really going on. First, understand this. The 9-to-5 model was never designed to make you rich. It was designed for stability, and that made sense decades ago. Back when companies were loyal, back when pensions existed, back when working 30 years in the same place actually guaranteed something at the end. But today, companies cut costs overnight. AI replaces entire roles in months. And job security is basically just a feeling, not a guarantee. You can be doing everything right and still get replaced. Now here's the shift most people are missing. In 2026, income is no longer tied to time. It's tied to leverage. Think about it. If you work a job, you trade hours for money. Your income has a ceiling, 24 hours in a day, that's it. But people who understand leverage, they break that limit. They use systems, content, technology, and assets that keep working, even when they're not. That's why someone can make money while sleeping, and someone else can't make more even if they work harder. And here's where it gets uncomfortable again. Hard work is no longer enough. You can be disciplined, consistent, reliable, and still fall behind. Because the game is no longer about effort, it's about positioning. Where are you putting your time? What skills are you building? Are you creating something or just maintaining something? Let's talk about skills. There are two types of skills in today's world: linear skills and leveraged skills. Linear skills get paid once. You do the work, you get paid, and it ends there. Most jobs fall into this category. Leveraged skills get paid multiple times. You build something once, and it keeps generating value. Content, digital products, investments, automation. That's the difference between staying busy and actually getting ahead. Now think about this scenario. Two people start with the same salary, same age, same opportunities. One stays focused only on their job. The other starts building something on the side. At first, no difference. Maybe even worse for the second person: more work, less immediate reward. But give it a year, 2 years, 5 years. Now one still depends entirely on a paycheck, and the other has multiple streams of income. That's the compounding effect most people underestimate. Here's another truth people avoid. Comfort is the biggest trap. A stable salary feels safe. A routine feels predictable. But that comfort slowly removes urgency, and without urgency, there's no growth. So people stay in the same place for years, not because they can't do more, but because they don't feel forced to. Until one day they are. Now let's address the obvious question. Does this mean you should quit your job? No, that's not the point. The real risk isn't having a job. The real risk is only having a job. Because that means you have a single point of failure. If it disappears, your income disappears. That's the vulnerability most people ignore. So what should you actually do? You start building leverage. Slowly, strategically, without needing to take reckless risks. You use your current situation as fuel, not as a cage. That means learning high-value skills, understanding how money actually works, creating something that can scale beyond your time. Because the goal isn't to escape work, the goal is to stop being limited by it. And here's something most people won't tell you. The window of opportunity right now is massive. Technology has lowered the barrier to entry. You don't need millions to start. You don't need connections. You don't need permission. What you need is awareness. Because most people still haven't realized what's happening, they're waiting, watching, delaying. And that hesitation is exactly what creates opportunity for those who act. But let's be real for a second. This isn't easy. Building something takes time. It takes patience. It takes consistency when there's no immediate reward. That's why most people don't do it, not because they caw, but because they won't stay long enough to see results. So here's the real question you need to ask yourself. If nothing changes in your life, where will you be in 3 years? Same income, same routine, same limitations. Because if that thought makes you uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is a signal. And now flip it. What if you start today, not perfectly, not aggressively, just consistently? One skill, one project, one step at a time. That's how everything changes. Not overnight, but permanently. At the end of the day, this isn't about quitting your job. It's about upgrading your strategy, because in 2026, the people who win aren't the ones who work the hardest. They're the ones who adapt the fastest. And the longer you wait, the harder that adaptation becomes. So if you're still working a 9-5, that's fine, just don't let it be the only thing you rely on. Because the biggest risk today is thinking you still have time to figure it out later. And by the time most people realize that, it's all